Welcome back to the channel. I got here a 1965 Corvair engine. This is a 140 model. I recently bought a 65 500 parts car. It was way too bad rusted, but the price was right and it had this 140 in it. After I pulled it out, this thing was completely covered in rat feces. So it's locked up, doesn't spin. I was thinking maybe it was just on the cover up, like they built a big nest in the engine compartment. So I was like, well, maybe they didn't get too far in the engine. So I pulled it out, was gonna keep it all together, but then when I pulled the top shroud, like all these fins, everything was just covered probably to like the bottom of this fan. It was just completely covered in crap and dirt, anything you can think of, a racket grab, they shoved it in there. So because of that, like there's some exfoliation or like really bad corrosion on that side. This side's not too bad, but I'm just gonna pull the whole engine apart and try to clean it and salvage what I can. If I leave it together, it's so clogged up, I'm never gonna use it in this configuration. I'm gonna have to rebuild it. So might as well just pull it apart and see what I got left at the end of the day. So let's dig in and find out. All right, first thing, I'm gonna need to drain the oil out of this thing, or whatever is in this thing. There we go. Well, okay, so there's no oil in it. It's kind of weird. I'm gonna lean it back some. Nope, she dry. Okay. I didn't want to dispose of oil anyways. Let's go to the next step. So while we're at it, before I go spinning this motor around, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the bell housing. It's got what looks like 9 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. So remove the 9 bolts around there, and then there's 3 on the bottom from the oil pan, and that will remove all that. The 3 on the bottom here. Then I got this gutless little impact. Zip them off with. From the looks of it, the inner ones have washers, and then the perimeter ones, where the flywheel would be, don't have any. Maybe the ring gear would make them stick out too far. Just if y'all are trying to put one back together, good to note that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should have a washer. The 4 outside ones don't. Now that that's loose, this thing should come off. It's a little persuasion. I like these rubber mallets. Well, there's some oil. Oh, that's great. This thing, you kind of see all the corrosion, especially right here, where stuff just sat and ate at it. So I might keep this one. I'll clean it up and see how it goes. I'm hoping I can use this for my 4-door. In case you didn't know, the bearing was bigger in 65 and up. The 64 and 60 to 64 have a small bearing, and then 65 they enlarged it probably to make it last longer maybe. But this thing's completely covered in dirt. I kind of uncover the bolts, and they look like they're 5/16. Grab that. These things are too tight. If you leave the belt on this, you can normally squeeze the belt and then take them off. I would highly not recommend grabbing these fins because they're, I believe they're a magnesium fan, and it'll just break. And then you'll be having to buy a new fan or find a replacement fan because they don't make new ones. There goes all that. And then this thing might be able to, nope, it's loose. That's good. These things you want to watch out. They'll start cracking down the fins, and then they'll corrode out real bad. So this one's a good one, surprisingly. Now we'll take the top cover off. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They just kind of squished it and used like some safety wire. Yeah, I guess it works. That didn't work. Also note, this one's going to be a lot shorter bolt. If you put the long bolt in there, you'll blow through the housing and you'll just maybe produce a hazard of random metal in the motor. So just watch for that when you're assembling these things. Sometimes you can give these a good sideways whack. They'll break loose or crack, but this one came loose. This one's actually pretty clean, which this is above the breather, so not that it's gonna matter. It all needs to be cleaned anyways. These things will crack in this corner. So a lot of people radius these edges and drill a hole just to kind of relieve them. This one's not cracked, and it's the thicker one. There's one that's super thin metal, almost just sit there and click on you. This one's the thicker, nicer one. right off the bat, it's not super bad, but you can see the stampings on these rods. So someone's been in this motor before. So maybe it's got a nice cam or something in it. Maybe some board jugs that are probably rusted now and seized. All right, I'm gonna start on this side of the motor. I think this head will be a lot easier to get off. The other side's the pretty bad one. That was where they used the bathroom all the time. So I think 3/8, take these off. Nope, it's 18 millimeter. Perfect. Pop this open and all the oil will fall out. But I guess they glued these on. There it goes. Yep. So far it's still all the stock components. Just they at least take care of it. It's not all gunked up like a lot of them are. I'll rip these off real quick. Well, first good news, none of those studs broke loose. Some stock link push rods. So never expect anything real fancy out of these. But you always hope maybe someone stuck some money on it. Money in it for some expensive parts. To open up the door. Dude, it's tight. Play like a tiger. Oh yeah, there we go. So these head bolts go all the way back, and they're just really long studs that go into here, into the block. The problems you'll have is you'll break these things loose. You say it was my impact, but I think it's just the rusted nuts. These nuts get so rusty, they just seize up everything. You can see that thing's just... There it goes. So, to fix this block, you put a key insert in it or an oversized stud. But, so, let's go to the next one. These nuts are really bad, rusted. There's almost no threads on the outside. No one rounded off. I'm gonna go find a 6-point. All right, we'll start on this side. Nope, that one's loose. That one's loose. Holy crap, dude's on there. See how there's just no threads left on that? Well, that's weird. That never happens. All right, let's go on these. That's out. And break. This push rod's loose. You might want to turn this a little more. We'll want to pop that bolt out. If this table would stop wiggling, that would be great. I think tossing this engine up here knocked my table out of balance. Normally it's pretty stable. This is the oil cooler. It's just got one bolt holding it on. Well, 2 bolts over here. Get that one out. Oh, that's odd. Who stuck that there? That's probably not going to work, but I'll give her a shot. Well, it's definitely not the right size socket for this, but she's coming, so that's all that matters. I'm gonna like tap that dude with a metric. This has to be a metric. There we go. Oh, that is making a mess. Put that there. Getting these push rod tubes out. I'll show you how I get those going. So, holy crap, this is leaking forever. For an engine that didn't want to give it up when I opened the drain plug, sure is pouring now. So, best way I've learned, probably not the best, but if you loosely grab them with some channel locks, you can kind of twist them like that. You won't mar it, it'll break them loose. Then you can get up in there. Try not to block the camera, and you can pull them. If that doesn't work, because they'll get really bad, like gunked up around them, and they'll kind of lock themselves in. Just kind of loosely grab them, twist and pull. Nope, that's not doing it either. I don't want to dent them up, so I'll just go through here and loosen all these. Gonna break them, break the seal per se. That last one's gonna be tight, of course. That thing just keeps on going. How is there that much oil in that? There's nowhere for it to go. It's like no reservoir. It's weird. Ah, there we go. So these will pull straight out of the head. There's one. It should just pop out real nice and easy like that. There we go. And throw rat crap all over you. These things have been leaking for a while. They'll really get gunked up around the base. Make them hard. Oh, don't want to do that. You also take a scribe, kind of dig out around. That'll help loosen some of that stuff up. Make it come a little easier. Holy crap. Oh, there we go. Oh. Took a lot of grabbing. Now this is off. Probably try to get the head off now. This can be the challenging part. As much gunk that's up here, I'm pretty sure this has all been corroded and seized together. We're missing a couple studs, so that made it a little easier, but I just kind of grab it, start loosening. Trying to figure out an angle to get this off. The problem is you don't want to whack on any of this. Maybe the bosses here, but if you whack out on the corner here and here, they're super thin and they'll break. I've done it before. It's not good. If you whack out here, you'll dent these fins in and then you're not going to cool as good. I might slap it a couple times up here. See if I can't get it to start. Got my shroud off. Alright, I got it to break loose a little bit. Whacking on questionable things. Just kind of real light little love taps. You're not trying to get it to give you money. Just kind of a wiggling act without pulling the whole engine in your lap. Readjust. Everything's falling off. This table is really annoying. Here, let me find some metal. All right. Alright, so my main problem, this last jug here is stuck in that cylinder. Let me get some. The closest thing to this kind of lubing oil I got. This will probably not work real good. Yeah, get my other stud out. Wouldn't you know? That stuff worked. Oh yeah. Well, so there goes my dreams of just slapping these heads on another motor. I'll get a close-up shot of this in a little bit for you. Yeah, so this motor, I mean, it had a very, very low chance of actually running without disassembling. But all that chunkiness is probably why this thing was frozen. And then even if you did break it free with vinegar, I just don't think that would have worked very good. It would have got stuck in the valves and just caused more harm than good. Would have ran like crap. But let's see if I can pull these off. So start. It's a little spring keeper. Holds these lower shrouds on that everyone forgets to put back on. It'll ruin your day and make you real good at putting in push rod tubes. This should pop off. Give me more rat crap. Alright, guess I'll have to do this the manual way. Undo the rods and then pull them out. But this motor's still frozen. That didn't really help. So, there's still hope. Maybe this crank's still good. We got a big cam in it. Inner. Probably not. Look like standard pistons. This one's got number 6 stamped in it, but they don't have oversized markings on them. So I don't really think they're oversized. Actually, we'll probably get to this one. Get her popped off there. Yeah. I gave these all the torque. I got nothing left for anyone else. Guess I could raise y'all into the action. I said it before. Really, why has this got green paint on it? That's weird. It's got 2 lines of green paint on the nut. These are really torqued on there. If you go by the torque specs on the book, they're not going to be that tight. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it worked. They didn't come loose. Put that one in the spot to lose it. Get the next one. It's way up in there. I think most of this video I'm going to edit out. It's me just walking back and forth trying to get tools I forgot. I laid a bunch of these tools out before I started this video. I just didn't really think it through all the way. If y'all ever get into an engine, and you got it all tore apart, you got a bunch of time waiting for people and you don't know what to do, deflash this stuff, because this stuff hurts. Like that part's really sharp. It'll cut you all up. At least if you deflash it and you cut yourself, you know it's your fault. So I always take me a nice chunk of brass. Just kind of put my finger on the bottom side, whack these things free. They'll come right out of there and show you a really messed up crank journal. A little white glove wipe. They're dark. They're not terrible. I mean, still got some life in them. Let's see if this crank is turned. These are DAB 51s. 7385 cap 67-20. 9-21 DA49. I don't know what these are. Doesn't look like it's a turn crank. So, wonder why someone got in this thing. That was a good idea till I thought about it. I can't move the crank, so I can't actually get this rod out. Great. I probably can scoot y'all back. Probably pull this out. Oh yeah, there we go. This piston wasn't frozen. Still can't do anything with it. Well, it's just gonna hang out there for a minute. See if this one's frozen. Yeah, oh, it's still stuck. That was a stuck one from earlier. Alright, well, got this side as far as we can go for now. I'll turn it around to this other side. Maybe y'all can see. This was going to be the side I thought the head was going to be toasted. It's got all this real bad, just corrosion. Yeah, so if that head looked like it did, it had none of this stuff on that side. I don't have high hopes for these heads being real salvageable without me spending a lot of time on a mill and a welder, which I will do because I'm a cheap butt. All right, let's get this thing spun around and leak oil on the other side of a nice mahogany table. While we're at it, we'll pull this distributor. Let's get one 9/16 nut holding it on. I really debated on just leaving this engine all put back together and just standing it up, setting it in the corner, and pulling it out another day when I need parts. But the more I think about it, the more I was just gonna tear it apart. No. Teeth are good. They're the gear. These things always have a crap ton of in play. So if you actually look at like this gap, see if it focuses, you can just see how much this thing moves. They're supposed to be at like a 7th thou, maybe 12th thou. It's not this much. So you can shim those and get a little bit tighter tolerances. Rip those dudes out. This is gonna be bad. Yeah. There we go. It's coming. It's gonna break. Yeah. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. There we go. It's loose. It's coming. It's probably taking all the threads with it. Really, I want to take the impact to these. Holy crap. Oh, crap. Things are in there. Maybe I'll just tap them with the impact. This head's gonna need work anyways. What's a rethread job on a spark plug hole gonna do? There's a little moving. There's a little moving. It's only gonna strip out half the holes. You really only need half the thread to Yeah, it's still tight. It's still tight.
Holy butt. There's a lid hole. Hopefully it's not good. I got you. There she goes.
We're getting a little rich. I still got threads. Did not think that was gonna happen. Oh, this one's tighter. How do they get tighter? Ugh. The biggest fear is these things always slipping, and then I'm just gonna cut the crap out of my wrist on that thing.
Oh, there we go. This one's taking out threads. They get really loose, really fast. Huh. That's not possible.
Got a nice Corsa dipstick. I have to keep this one for later. You can tell it's a Corsa. So my battery died, but I was able to get the other head off, got all the jugs out. The jugs were pretty easy. You just take one rod off at a time, slide it all out. Eventually I'm gonna buy more batteries so I stop having this problem, because this also happened when I was messing with my bug. But, all right, the oil filters are held on with this bolt. Loosen that dude. And this thing should come off. I think. Just like that. So, that's off. I need to figure out a way to undo that dude. Came right out. So now I'm gonna hook up my puller and pull this off, which will allow me to get to all the bolts. Pull this front cover off, and then I'll be able to split the case, pull the cam and the crank out, and then this thing will be completely disassembled. I can take this alternator bracket off, separate from this. I'll probably just leave it together for simplicity. And that's that'll be this whole engine disassemble. I'm making a mess. Oh, I stepped in it. All over my shoe. Okay, so to remove this isn't the right way, but this thing is pretty bad corroded down here, so I'm gonna say it's no good. I'm just gonna put this breaker bar through, catch this bolt, have my puller installed. I'm just gonna start cranking away. There we go. Now, she's free. It should have a few bolts holding all that on. I think that's all of them. I don't see any more. Get my glove tappy. Start. That feels like there's still more on this thing. This oil pump, wrong size. Every freaking time. Eventually. There it goes. And we're going to take this thing out. Knock this dude out. All right, that's all those. Well, this is a good part. This needs to be cleaned. This in there. Nope. There's not another bolt. It might just be on there pretty good. This thing's so corroded. There she goes. I think it's just this bottom flange area. This area is just gonna crack. I know it will. There she goes. It looks pretty clean, but yeah. You see all of that corrosion. More of that oil. That wasn't a crack. But I'll keep this one on the shelf. I don't think it's gonna be any good to use. You can get way better ones that you don't have to worry about the thinness of the bottom. So, and we're down to the block. I'm probably just gonna leave the block together. If I pull this crank out, not really gonna do it. The blocks make a really good crank holder, so I'm just gonna leave that how it is. I'm gonna break it down later. It's not, this gear on the back is pretty rusty. I don't know if that would actually be any good. So here's all the usable parts, or parts I feel like are worth keeping off of this engine. I got the jugs, pistons, those are just for cores if I ever buy a set of jugs and pistons. But I got a good manual bell housing, got a good fan, maybe a good bearing, at least a housing. I got another baffle for the top, alternator bracket, 12 core, oil cooler. I got this cool Corsa dipstick that's corroded. Sorry, I got a good one of those. I got a block, maybe a good crank. I need to measure it, see, it might need to be turned. The crank gear needs to be inspected. It's got some rust on it, so I think it might be bad. The cam, it's getting chunked. It's probably not any good. I mean, I won't chunk it, I'll hold on to it on a pack rack, but I don't think it's got rust and stuff on it, so I'll probably hold on to it. If I don't find a use for it, might try to sell it, or just, like I said, get rid of it. I did get a good 140 distributor, so these are supposed to have a timing curve for a 140 and for a manual too. So that's good. Might try to run that and see if it works pretty good. The heads are pretty bad. So I'll zoom in and show y'all on the heads, but they're buildable. They're just gonna take a lot of work. Okay, so this was what I thought would be the decent side. It wasn't really much better. I mean, it's better, but not much, if that makes sense. A lot of corrosion. I think that cylinder was the only one that didn't have a valve open, sitting for who knows how long. A pretty long time. The license plate had the numbers faded, so who knows. But yeah, so that cylinder's the only savable one, and it was the only piston that wasn't seized. All the other ones were pretty seized up. This valve stuck up. This valve was stuck up, and I kind of was whacking on it, and it crumbled and collapsed. So I mean, it's probably good as new now. But this head is pretty bad. You can see these thin spots here on the fins. They're thin, but I'm probably gonna fly cut this and then deck it and this fin will probably fall off anyway, so it'll be fine. It's got a bunch of stuck valves. This exhaust valve is stuck too. It's just a lot lower, but these two are stuck high. So I might need guides. Probably the whole head needs to be built. I do plan on building a 3-liter engine with the 92 millimeter Volkswagen jugs and pistons, so these need to be opened up. Maybe do some porting, valve. So I need a good set of heads that I can just cut. Do the angle pipe, angle exhaust, so all those will get pulled out and replaced with nice pipe. This exhaust log was rusted through, which was interesting. Let's see, there's my zoom. Yeah, right here, there's a hole right through it, about a 1/4 inch deep or 1/4 inch big, but there is a hole. It's kind of interesting. Like I said, this whole engine was just caked with nuts and pee and poop and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, so this head, it's bad, but it is what it is. Let's go back to the top. So, was the car worth it? I'd say yeah. That car, he knew that it was bad. Everything was pretty rotted. Wasn't a solid panel on that car. It had some parts, but not a whole lot. It had a 140 engine and a 4-speed, so that was mainly what made me want to buy the car. I'll cut some of the body panels off and use it for the 4-door on patches and my Corsa for some patches. But I really wanted the heads to be good. That's mainly all I was after. The second I saw it was 140, I was like, yeah, I'll buy it. But with the heads being not good, the transmission was pretty good, so that's a win for me. And then all the rest of the parts be fine. I really wanted the 140 heads to be good. Back in my mind, I wanted to rebuild my 140 engine I used to have in my Bug. Stick these heads on it, be going down the road. Would have really woke that car back up, but I'll find another set of heads. I'm not in a hurry, so I'll put these on the shelf, and one day when I feel froggy about milling, I'll build these heads. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, all that good stuff everyone says. I'm gonna try to start posting every Friday, get that content start flowing, and if y'all like that kind of stuff, we'll keep on watching it. Maybe we can make something out of this. So I'll see you next time. Enjoy yourselves.